Hello and welcome to this latest wee episode of Scotland on a Shoestring. As you can see, Bex is not here, she is at work. Ooh. So today DeNiro and I are going to go on an adventure that is going to be entirely guided by Google. Okay, if you've seen our Sky videos, you'll know that we love a nice broch. So let's try that. Let's try searching for broch and see what Google turns up, if anything. Might end up going to Sky if it says the closest one is on Sky. And it turns out the closest one is actually just up the road. So let's head up there now for a wee look. So what we're off to look at today is a broch. Maybe. Now this is in Fife and it's on the Canmore Scottish Government website as being a broch, but with a question mark. It's some ruins and they're not actually sure what those ruins are. They think because it's mostly round that it might have been a broch, but they don't know. So we're going to go and have a wee look and see if we can form our own opinions. And as well as forming our own opinions, DeNiro will get a nice walk and I'll get to fly the drone in some beautiful sunshine over some nice scenery. So worst case, I'll get some nice pictures for you guys, and best case, we'll go and look at an actual broch. Yay! And of course it's time for that traditional Scottish breakfast. It's a bridie, famous from the town of Forfar. So one day we're going to take you to the town of Forfar. We've been there already for a quick look and a park run. We're going to go and do a proper explore. Oh, and there is a minor inconvenience because there is a Greyhound and there is a gate that is locked, and up there is where we want to go. Let's see if we can get DeNiro round this gate or past it. I don't think so somehow. Oh well, that's a real shame. DeNiro is back in Mabel and I'm going to go up here myself. It is quite a nice day. It's not awfully warm, but it is very pretty. Can't believe I used to climb those things for a living. Wouldn't fancy that today. Think I'm a bit old for that game. The first piece of broch related thought is they're always built somewhere that imposes on the local landscape so everybody knows where it is and who it is, and this certainly is quite an imposing position, so let's go up for a wee look. I do feel quite bad about not being able to bring DeNiro up the path because of the gates, but I'll make up for it. I'll take him to the beach. This is just beautiful, but once again I think the shorts were a bad idea. It's not quite as warm as it looks. Oh, there's a bit of added photogenic effect with a black horse and a white horse. Hello horses! Oh wow, and talking of St Andrews, there it is off there in the distance. But we are going up here to look for something that may or may not look like a broch. It is quite a long walk up this hill. I should have just used my keys and then driven Mabel up. If I get caught, I just say, I'm telecoms, I'm working, honest, and yeah, I always take my Greyhound to work, which I actually do anyway. And you won't really be able to see it because it's too far away, but there is Cooper, and beyond that there's the inlet for the river, and beyond that there's what used to be RAF Lookers. It's still a military base, but you can see some of the buildings there possibly, or maybe not. I'm not sure how well this camera is doing. And beyond that there's some proper beautiful scenery that we are going to be exploring in the future, and you guys will be coming with us whether you like it or not. Well, I say that, if you don't like it you just don't watch it, it's up to you. So apart from the drone, I think the best way to see what's happening is to get up to where that trig point is. That is a trigonometry point. They were used for mapping before the days of GPS. It's that little thing that looks artificial. I will show you it when we get a bit closer so you can see what the hell I'm talking about. Actually, now that we're a bit higher up, I think I was talking nonsense. I don't think that is Cooper. I think that is Cooper over there. Wow, doesn't this look kind of artificial, the way it's been? There's a high side and a low bit in the middle. Again, no idea, not a geologist, but that doesn't look natural to me, but I don't know what I'm talking about. That thing there, on the other hand, looks completely natural. It is very ugly, they all are. Oh, and this is the next obstacle. That, to me, not sure, but it looks like it might be an electric fence, so aye. Not going to touch it to find out, if you don't mind. So there is that thing I was talking about. They're dotted about on high points throughout the country, and they've got a bit on the top where you can put a theodolite, and you can check bearings and positions to different trig points on different high hills. So they all link up. There's a massive grid of these, or there was, and they're not used anymore. Always a target to walk towards, because you know when you get there you're at the highest point and you're going to get the best views. And that's what you get on the top of a trig point. That's where the gubbins would have screwed into it to get the bearings to 3 different points round about here. Very cool, very clever as well, and a lot of work, a lot of effort in days before, as we said, GPS. But now on our broch hunt, I'm thinking there is a ring of stones that goes round there. There's me, hello, round there and across there, and then that pile of stones is part of it, so I'm thinking this might be what they're talking about. I'm not seeing any sign of a second ring of stones, outer and inner walls, that we saw on Sky, so not sure about the broch, but let's go and put the drone up and have a wee look. This is definitely the best wee gadget that we have. This thing has been brilliant so far, and up here it should give us a really good view of this thing that we're going to call a broch, but we don't know if it is, and also of the surrounding countryside, so looking forward to that. So it's time to do some arty drone work and see what we can make of this site from above. So there you go, there's definitely some round patterns in these stones, but is it a broch? I don't know. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. So that is our broch investigation, such as it is, and if you come up with me up this big pile of stones in super duper fast forward, if you look over there, there's what looks like another ring just off to the right, but I'm not sure. There was no real sign of it from drone stuff, so maybe I'm just using my imagination. And there's our favourite little toy and our favourite view, that is looking out towards St Andrews and out to the seaside. How nice is that? Right now I've got to go back down the hill and see what the dog's been up to. I'm guessing he's probably been asleep. I did promise him a walk this morning and he's not had a long one yet, so we have to go and remedy that. Hi guys, I come in peace. Are you friendly? Of course you are, you're horses. Hello horses. I know that horses are mostly reputed to be like friendly big beasties, but I don't have a great deal of experience of them, and what if one of them is having a bad day? I think we'll give them a bit of a wide berth. I mean, they do look friendly enough. There is Mr. Black Horsey and Mr. White Horsey who are enjoying the sunshine, but I'm not going to get too close to them. Nope, definitely a wide berth. Oh, I didn't notice that on the way up. That's a nice wee house that. Think of the views that you'd have, because you'd live in that little ramshackle, rundown, tiny house, and you'd be looking out at that. That would do for me and DeNiro, but probably not Bex, because I've got too much junk. Oh, and there's that White Horsey again, posing against the backdrop. I wish I had a better camera with me, because that would make a really, really nice photograph. Well, that was very nice for a random stop, and now we're going to do another one. What I'm going to do, actually, because we can play a bit of Russian roulette today, because I've got nothing else planned, I'm going to put ruins into Google Maps and see if it shows me anywhere that I don't know, and if it does, that is where we are going. Well, I didn't know if that was actually going to work, but there we are. We have our second target of the day. We're going to look at a castle, hopefully. Our Google Maps search for ruins has given us Parbhail Castle, which once again I have never heard of, so we're going to go for a wee look. Hopefully it'll be interesting, or once again I am just wasting your time. That sign back there said Parbhail Roundabout, so we're in the right place, but I know this bit of road quite well and I'm not at all sure that there's a castle here. Yeah, that's not looking hugely promising. That's what the map says is the castle, and it's all just overgrown nettles and things. Yeah, so there's the Dovecot on the other side, so there was once something here, but no idea. I think it's probably time to have a look on Google Maps at their aerial views, and if that doesn't work, then have a look at our own aerial views with the drone. Well, that's definitely quite an impressive Dovecot, but there's no sign of any other ruin, so I'm thinking that must be all there is here. That's all that's left of Parbhail Castle. So there you are. Don't believe everything you read on Wikipedia. Wikipedia says it's a vault standing in a field. It is clearly a Dovecot, unless there's anything else that we've missed. But having a good look round, I don't think there is. So there you are. That is what is left of Parbhail Castle. Now let's go and find something else. Well, that was moderately successful, so let's try it again. We've googled ruins, and our next stop is going to be Lord's Kearney Castle. Again, never heard of it, so we are finding this at the same time that you guys are. Let's go and see what we can find. This is another, I promise you this is not deliberate moment, but over there, on our way to that castle we're going to, there is, believe it or not, a castle. What do you say we go and see if we can have a wee look? I think it's in a farm, so we might not get in, but we'll have a wee look and see what we can see. Yeah, so we've parked up just opposite the castle and we're going to go for a wee look. Now, we know nothing about this. Literally, we have stumbled across it. It is just at the side of the road in an old farm, but the farm looks abandoned, and there's a house over the road, which may be the house of the people that own the farm. You get the idea. I'm not going to upset anybody, but I'm going to go for a wee look. And there it is. It's Not sure. There's the farm around it all looks pretty derelict, and that is an old tower house. I don't know, 16th century. A lot of the ones we see around here are 16th century, so that's pretty cool. It looks like it's not in any way restored or preserved or anything. It's just standing there. So let's go and see A, if we get shouted at by the farmer, and B, how cool it actually is. And if there's nobody about, we might even have a wee shot with a drone. We've made it this far and nobody shouted at us yet. As I said, there are some houses just over there, but I don't know who they belong to or if they even care that there's somebody walking about their castle. And even the old farmyard storage silo has got like turrets at the top. This is really smart. I'm not sure what we're going to find, but let's go and see. It still has most of a roof, but it is slowly sliding off. That is not beyond repair though. That is not beyond being put back into use. That is an amazing building. I think I've just fallen in love with a pile of stone. That is so cool. Right, this is a public service message, but we're not going to go wandering about in all of this stuff because this is tick season, and if you get a tick in your leg you can get Lyme's disease, and Lyme's disease is horribly nasty. So we are not going to go anywhere where there might be ticks, and we're certainly not going to let DeNiro out into that grass because ticks and greyhounds, not a great mix, I don't think. This place is so cool. That's the old coach house there, obviously, and there's a chimney, so there's something more modern than the tower house, but it's all derelict. I'm not seeing any sign of any recent activity. Oh, wait a minute. This wall up here has been redone with tin sheeting, so we don't want to get chased by a farmer. But let's see what we see when we get around this corner. I bet it's somebody's house. That's pretty neat, isn't it? There's a gun port there, and a bricked up window, and up towards the roof. That's really quite smart. I wonder if we could get permission to go and have a look at that. We'd have to find out who we needed to speak to. I bet that is really interesting inside, but probably not entirely safe. Oh, a man in a van have just arrived. I'm going to go and ask if I can put the drone up. All he can say is no. I waved at him and he smiled, so he doesn't look scary. Right, we've just spoken to the gentleman that's just arrived, and he doesn't own it, but he says the farmer does, and the farmer is hardly ever here, and the guy I just spoke to has no objection to me A, flying the drone, or B, having a look inside. And he's talking about heraldic drawings inside the castle. This could be absolutely amazing. I'm so excited! You can tell, can't you? I'm so excited. This is my so excited face. Right, so all you've got to do is ask people nicely, and sometimes you get a wee result. This is called Kearney Castle, and apparently the reason it's fallen to rack and ruin is historic Scotland. They're very restrictive of what people can do to it, so they can't just go and fix it so it stays wind and watertight. No. And apparently it's only started to really go to rack and ruin in the last 10 years. According to the gentleman I just spoke to, before that it was, quote, whole and hearty, unquote. Once again, short's not a great idea, but we are in. This is the collapsed remains of a 17th century farm building that is built onto the side of the tower house. So there you are, that is the wall of the tower house. That is really cool. It's a real shame that it's not accessible or protected or anything. It's still got its roof on, but its roof is rapidly falling off. Ow, lots and lots of nettles. Ow, I just sort of fell over all that junk and scratched on all those nettles, and the door is closed. But we're going to go and see if we can see what it says above it, because this is history that is not very well documented. So how are we doing at reading what it says there? There's an H and a B and a shield that is unfortunately fairly well gone, and der something, yeah, I can't see what that is. It's gone, but there will be information online about that, you would hope. And up there, bolted into it, is the top of the building that I've just climbed through, because that building is not there anymore. And over there, there's a little defensive gun position beside the door. This is so cool. Yeah, I'm thinking getting in is not going to happen, but there's what it looks like from this wee corner that I've just got around to. So I think this is a job for a drone to see what we can see through the windows. Oh, there's another way in, but that's padlocked, and this is the building at the side of it that is full of bloody pigeons. I don't think you can get from here through into the actual tower house, although there's a ladder there. Oh, you can. There's a ladder there, and there's a hole up there. Guess where I am going next? Although the ladder, to be fair, looks like it's seen better days. Alright, and there's what it looks like on the inside. That is looking through this hole. I've just fallen through a hole in the ladder, but hey ho. Apparently there's all sorts of nice paintings on bits of this, or there was before it all got wet. So they'll be long gone, I suspect, but it's still, this is amazing. Oh god, I am loving this so much, as you can probably tell. Sorry if it's getting a bit boring. This little ancillary building to the main building is a bit ramshackle. I really don't want to stand on anything in case it breaks, because I just stood on the bottom rung of that ladder and it broke. I may have gone eek a little bit, but hey ho, let's go and get the drone up and have a look from above. Yeah, I just climbed over all of that stuff to get in, but I think I'll go out through the big door over there that I didn't notice. Yeah, I've been on easier explorers. It's a good job DeNiro is still back in the van. Right, that is us out to something that looks a bit safer to walk on. Yeah, the house behind me looks like it's still in use, although there's nobody about, so we're going to go around here, put the drone up and scarper quickly if we're told to go away. I do wonder where the farmer who owns all this actually lives. I wonder if we could ask him if we could go in with, you know, obviously we have the PPE and we don't do anything stupid, but he might not be keen on somebody dying in his castle, so I'm guessing that's that. I mean, no. It's an absolute travesty that that building is being allowed to get into that state. The gentleman I was speaking to said inside that 10 years ago was nice, it was perfect, it was the way it should be. There were still heraldic paintings on the ceiling, it was all stucco plaster, it looked amazing, and now the roof's off it, it's wet, it's full of pigeons and it's rotten. I may get in touch with Historic Scotland and say, excuse me, what are you doing about this? Because that is as worthy of being maintained as any other historic site in Scotland. What an amazing wee discovery, and a bit of a sad story that it's in that state. Anyway, we are now going on to the ruins that we were heading for when we saw that ruins. It is a pity that the person that should be sitting in that seat there is not sitting in that seat there because they are at their work. Boo! I did take DeNiro out for a wee sniff about while we were at Kearney Castle, but it was starting to get a bit warm and he was starting to get a bit panty, so I thought what he needed was some doggy ice cream. So this is a peculiarly British place. This is a garden centre. You may have these in your country, I don't know, people watch from all over the world, but they used to just sell plants and now they sell all sorts of stuff like big metal eagles or deer or all sorts of stuff that you think, is that really, okay, it's for a garden, but it's not a plant. And the weirdest thing is, at the first sign of nice weather, literally the first sun of the spring, they fill up with cars. The car parks are mobbed and there's hundreds of people, massive queues, buying stuff. But what they didn't have was any doggy ice cream. So sorry DeNiro, no ice cream for you today, but we will keep looking and let's go to Lord's Kearney Castle. Yeah, okay, so this one's not going to happen. I just spoke to a gentleman who was at his house, and the guy who owns the castle does not want people near it, and he's got 2 Doberman guard dogs. So there's a drive-by view of what's left of the castle. It was built in about 1500, and as you can see, it's still quite a substantial ruin, and it's a real pity you can't get near it, but there's signs saying go away, and there are big thugs, so we're not going to give it a try. Apparently it has been sold not that long ago to a hotelier, and then it's been sold again, and they're trying to get it renovated and restored, which would be nice, but they reckon that would cost millions. Oh, although the guy I was speaking to who's out working on his house did say there was somebody here flying a drone the other week, and he parked here and oops. Oh, almost a comedy moment there as I sunk into a big hole. There is the castle, so let's go and have a wee look with the drone. We'll put it up high and be in and out before he knows that we're there. Sneaky, until he sees this video and then it's kind of obvious. DeNiro is enjoying his last wee bit of today's explore, but he's not really showing any interest in that castle over there, which is what we are here to see. But we're not getting any closer than this, apart from with the drone obviously, because the gentleman that owns it is in a caravan next to it, not interested in risking life and limb with great big dogs. I've already got one great big dog, I do not want to be chased by another 2. It does look very interesting though. That's some really nice castles that we've seen today, and one Dovecot, which was supposed to be a castle but actually it wasn't. So there you go, that's been not a bad wee day out and about in Fife, I think you'll agree. So now we'll head back to Mabel and then we'll head for the dreaded drive down to Manchester, which these days is becoming a weekly occurrence. Yay, go us. Oh, look at that, a traffic jam in Fife. We don't get many of those, not in this part of Fife anyway. That wasn't very exciting. Roadworks. This place where we are now, Ceres or Keris, I've got no idea, is the home of the Fife Folk Museum, so we'll be going there one day for a wee look, but not today. I think we've done quite enough bimbling about today. Right, well, we did our Google thing again, and we've run out of ruins to go and visit, so we put in Castle, and it came up with Darcy Castle, and it turns out that Darcy Castle is actually a big Airbnb. If you've got a big group of friends, you can book it, come here and have a great time living in a proper 16th century Scottish castle. So I'm going to go and get some pictures of it, but there's can't get in, it's all big signs saying private. Okay, so we can't get into it, but for the sake of the completeness of today's wee adventure, that is Darcy Castle over there. As we said, it's the Airbnb, so if you have got a lot of friends, you can all get together, put your pennies into the kitty, and you can go and stay there. And what I've just noticed is this. That is a ruined church spire, I think. It's certainly got trees growing out of it, so if it's not ruined, it's got trees, which I don't think is right, but that is where we're going to go now. Oh wow, do you want to see something really cool? How's this for a collection of tulips? Showing my massive horticultural knowledge again of tulips, but there's orange ones and yellow ones and red and white ones and black ones and pink ones. This is absolutely amazing. It's really pretty. We're not usually big into, oh look, there's a pretty flower sort of things, but these are really, really pretty flowers. They've obviously established themselves quite well here, and this is just outside Darcy Castle, which we showed you a short time ago, and now we're going to take a walk up a wee path and see what there is to see at the old church, which looks like it might be a bit ruined. And DeNiro is once again playing the part of our cover story, because if anybody stops us, I'll say, oh, I was just letting the dog out for a pee. I'm not a nosy bugger with a camera. Although clearly I am a nosy bugger with a camera. So this is heading up towards the church, which is up there behind those gates. No idea if this is accessible or anything, but the windows are all still there. And as we saw before, there's trees growing out the spire, but the rest of it might be get-inable. So let's go for a wee look. Oh yep, we are in. This is Darcy Church, I guess. That's a complete guess, because that's Darcy Castle next to it. So let's go and have a wee look and see what we can see. So there is the way in, and there is something that I think says 1621, and above that there is a heraldic shield of, I guess, whoever had this place built. Probably the same people that lived in the castle. And if you were thinking this was a video that did not yet have a graveyard in it, well, this is the graveyard, which as you can see is very nice. It's got lots of these picnic table tombstones that are definitely not called picnic table tombstones, but you know exactly what I mean if I say a picnic table tombstone. So let's go and look at all the little bits and pieces that are carved into them. Oh, this poor soul could obviously not afford a skull and crossbones, because what they have got is a skull and an hourglass telling you time is finite, and a single bone. They couldn't afford the crossbones. But on this side there is a funny arrow thing. It looks like an arrow actually. It's not a funny arrow thing, it is an arrow. Cool. Not seen one of them on a gravestone before. And DeNiro is on his best behaviour and has not yet peed on anything. He had a big pee before he came in, so I'm hoping that it's going to be okay. We don't want to desecrate anyone's grave. That's another really nice tombstone there. The skull and crossbones obviously, and at the top the soul, the wing little head, which is up there. That is quite nice. DeNiro is looking like he's going to have a sniff at things, and then decides that he's going to have a sniff at something different. He is very, very egalitarian when it comes to sniffing. That's a bit interesting. That's like something's been burnt in there, or a... Oh no, that's marble. That's pieces. That must have had a marble inlay that is disintegrated over the years, because it's still got lumps of marble in it. Oops, I better not take it to bits. Wow, that's cool. I'm guessing that's what that is from the bits of marble that are still there. Very nice. But as always, if you want to find out who the major benefactors of a graveyard are, find the biggest tombstone in the place, which in this case is over there. So let's have a look and see what we can see on that. Okay, the name at the top is David Meldrum. No idea, but obviously quite a big deal in these parts. And there's more tombstones along the back wall there, and then obviously the bit we just looked at with all the really... This is so pretty, such a pretty setting. And over there is the church, and I think we might have a wee bit of a drone look at that as well, because there's nobody about. Some people in the comments have asked us to take a closer look at the names on some of the gravestones. There, this one is David Bell and his wife Helen Cardine, and their children, Alexander, John, Thomas, Helen and James, who died in Hunter, North Dakota, USA in 1930. Wonder what his story was. He's obviously been off on a wee adventure. Although given the date of the early 1900s, a lot of people from the UK did head for America to try and make their fortunes, so I wonder if he's got an interesting story. Even by our standards, today's wee explore has been unplanned, but I've really enjoyed it. I've been stung by nettles, I've tripped over things, I've fallen down holes, and all the things that you should do as a proper adventurer. DeNiro has just been imperious the whole way through. He is just rising above and enjoying a nice walk and a sniff, and another sniff, and maybe some more sniffing. I still didn't get him his ice cream. We've got to get the dog an ice cream. I can't find anywhere now that sells doggy ice cream. It's the sort of thing you always see when you're out and about, but you don't have a dog with you, or it's cold. He looks like he quite like an ice cream. He's getting quite panty. And that is our little Google-inspired random stot about looking at the history of Fife done. We do hope you've enjoyed this little trip. We know we have, and if you want any more, please let us know in the comments. Anywhere you want us to go, anywhere you want us to visit, give us a shout and let us know. Okay, we know this is supposed to be DeNiro's wee bit at the end, but today it's dedicated to Mabel, the fourth member of our wee team. It's a bit of a nervous time because Mabel is in for her annual MOT test that you have to have before you can drive your car or van on the road. So fingers crossed Mabel will be okay and we can go on adventures. And if Mabel is not okay, then DeNiro and I will be walking back to Fife from Manchester. It's only about 200 and something miles. And 45 minutes later, Mabel is legal again. She has passed her MOT, so we can continue to go on amazing adventures. And as you can see, she's done 194,000 miles in 2020, 217, 257, and now she is at 292,000 miles. Almost 300,000 miles, or 500,000 kilometres, and she's still going strong. We do love our Mabel. And as she's passed her annual MOT, it's time for her annual bath. Hello, you're still watching. I've been editing this week's video, and in doing so I've found some of the very first footage that I ever did where we're going to start doing our own little channel. So I thought I'd put it here for a bit of a giggle more than anything else. It's not very good, and I've cut out an awful lot of me talking, which was boring even for me, so I hate to think what it was like for you guys. But here you go. Here's a little snippet of our very first video, our trip to Ladybank. Good morning! Now Bex is at her work and DeNiro is asleep at home, so today you've got the pleasure of my company for a trip to Ladybank. We're going to go and see if we can find any trace of Robert Douglas. Not himself actually, because he's probably been dead for quite a long time, but his bottle works and his aerated water factory. Now we found a few Douglas bottles that are marked as being Ladybank, Kirkcaldy and Dunfermline. Kirkcaldy and Dunfermline, too big to really wander about on the hoof. So we're heading to Ladybank to see what we come up with. Okay, so Dunfermline and Kirkcaldy, too big. Let's look at Ladybank, a little town in Fife. Now the first place we go is the National Libraries of Scotland site, where you can have two maps side by side. You can have aerial photographs, you can have LiDAR data, you can have quite a lot. And you can compare what's there now with what was there before. Place names also provide an interesting clue to what used to be on sites. For example, here we have Gravel Pitwood, again another gravel pit. Another potential location to go and have a look at. There's lots of things you can pick up from these maps, and the only way to find out is to get out and walk. Now this isn't going to be one of those videos where you miraculously find all sorts of amazing things. We actually know roughly where Douglas's tip was, or the town tip, where there's lots of Robert Douglas bottles. I was there recently with Willie from Dirty Secrets of Scotland, and you can see that on their channel, and we did find a lot of broken Douglas bottles. So we may go and have a look and see if we can find a cod bottle that isn't broken, which would be nice. Now looking at the old maps, we found a few sites that were worth investigating, so that's where we're going to start today. We do actually know that there are some old bottles and stuff in these woods, so we're going to go and find them and see what we can see. Now this is an area that's quite popular with dog walkers and cyclists and stuff, so you have to be very careful obviously to clean up any mess that you make. We really don't want to leave the place any worse than it is, and also we just don't want a bad reputation for making a mess. People have been destroying these woods, etc. Really gutted this one's broken, but it's from Falkland, which isn't a huge place, and it's a pictorial, and it's got a name, and this bottle is the property of a Borthstone. I've not seen a cod bottle of that pattern before, so I'm guessing it's actually quite an old one. As I say, unfortunately it's broken, but I'm going to take it home, clean it up and see if anybody has any clever ideas about it. This is some of the broken glass that we've found on the surface, just having a little tidy up today. So we're going to dig a hole, bury it, and out of sight, out of mind for a while, and no little doggy will be chopping bits of its paws. We know from speaking to people that this tip was dug out pretty extensively back in the day. We've been here with Wally from Dirty Secrets of Scotland and didn't find a great deal. Okay, and that's us done with our explore of the woods. We're now going to head into the town and see what we can find there. Any sign of Mr. Douglas, any sign of his Lothry works. It's so strange watching this video, just me talking to my phone. We've moved on a little bit since then. Now I talk to a GoPro and occasionally we even use a drone, but this was how it all started. And we're still walking about the streets of Ladybank. We're now on Church Street. It seems that every village has a church street for some reason, possibly because there's a church there, or possibly because they got the signs cheap and they thought, where can we get a job lot of signs for Church Street? I have no idea. Anyway, I'm walking this and I'm watching the camera and I'm trying to see what's happening in front of me at the same time without my eyes flickering backwards and forwards. So, so far nobody's laughed at me or pointed at me or swore at me, so that's all good. Well, it's been a nice hour and a bit walking about, but unfortunately there's still no sign of Mr. Douglas or his Lothry works. So it's back to the old maps to see what we can see.